And it's been a pick'em fight all week long. We're about to have a lot of questions answered right now, Colonel.
Yes, we are. You mentioned one thing, Christina, very important. The calmness of Tim Bradley. He must maintain his equanimity. Both guys in dark trunks, you know the fighters.
How long is it going to take before Marquez tries to test? I mean, even more than usual in a fight because of what happened in that Providnikov fight to Bradley.
It's a very good point, Larry. And Marquez, who a lot of pop in his punches, now that he's a welterweight.
Tim has got perfect distance. His timing is perfect. And Tim able to block him in the back of his glove so far.
Laid back and he's studying Marquez. Both fighters sizing each other up in round one.
It'll be interesting to see who's the aggressor in this fight.
If Tim Bradley becomes the aggressor, he's going to be in trouble.
Version and variation of what we're looking at right now for rounds and rounds. Marquez, you know, his mind is going at 110% to try to set something up.
Blocked them pretty well. And that's a beautiful vintage uppercut by Marquez. The lead uppercut that he so successfully lands. And there he tries it again.
And it worked. It didn't catch him flush, but it worked. Bradley, as soon as he had hit the Warrior.
He didn't, Colonel. And there's another big left hook. And he's caught him a couple times with the uppercut and the hook so far, Larry.
Inch height difference here in favor of...
Bradley was notorious for using his head up until recent fights.
Yeah, well, he'll use it tonight because he has to when you're fighting a tough Mexican-style fighter. He'll use it for sure.
And a prominent head that is. That's a rather large head.
You know, no matter how Marquez has built up his body, which he has, you can see that Bradley is a naturally bigger man.
Very good point.
And naturally quicker. It's the bell ending round one. That's a Bradley round. All right, this is round number two. Colonel Bob Sheridan. We got Larry Merchant, Mario Lopez, and Christina Pacha alongside. Glad to be working with all of these true sensational professionals. 4 jabs in a row. The 2 professionals in the ring are truly professionals as well. Timothy Bradley, and of course Juan Manuel Marquez.
Timothy Bradley coming out popping those jabs.
Left shoulder, dipped, blasted in the liver.
Giving him different looks.
Coming out a lot more aggressive in this round to start than he did the first.
Landed that final home for that liver shot again. But it certainly counts in the body of your opponent.
And now we know how you fight, Curtis.
I'm a dirty fighter.
Stay on the plan. Stay on the plan. Something he did not do in his last fight, but is a mastermind and really has come up with a plan. They're yelling that over and over.
Ultimately, it's the fighter.
Bradley seeming a little more comfortable in there.
Yeah, you're right, Murray. I noticed that too. By him, nice foot movement to the 40-year-old guy.
Marquez staying disciplined to remain the counter-puncher.
Good left hook by Bradley.
Minute to go. Second round. Thomas and Mack loaded up the right. Didn't quite connect. You don't want to come straight in to Marquez. We talked about him, and you're right, Mario. He's one of the best. He got ripped to the body that time by Tim coming in.
I don't think it is. I think Bradley's winning this cleanly.
Oh, I'm giving it to Bradley.
You know, you get the feeling that he's trying to set something up.
Yes.
Trying to define what is he doing, where can I get him?
Oh, it's working. Oh, no. He got in the brawl. Closing seconds. Tim brawled. Tim won the round.
Here's a Bradley shot with a nice right hand over the top. End of the round, both the gentlemen in the corner. Bradley coming with a looping overhand right. And both letting the leather fly.
Here we go, round number 3. Thomas and Mack Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. Multi-champion, multi-divisional champion, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Will eventually time him and counter him, but is this an older Marquez that can't pull the trigger to do that? Remains to be seen.
His only hope is to get this guy into a very... Bradley's 8-0 in championship fights.
But Pacquiao was a good matchup. He was coming forward. He was always looking to land big punches. And Marquez could play off that.
But we've seen Bradley change it up as of late. If he bites down on that mouthpiece and chooses to exchange, then that's when he can get into trouble.
because I think he's fighting a perfect fight. But he bounces back to his right, stops, plants, anything but straightforward.
At what point, too, gentlemen, does Marquez...
He may have to, but that's not how he's fought.
But Tim's head was rolling. There's nothing on that punch. But in the seats so far, they get really excited. You got to remember, anything that Marquez does, Mexican fans in attendance tonight.
That's being generous. That's not being generous, excuse me.
Conservative.
Conservative, excuse me. Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm definitely a conservative. My man James Carville doesn't particularly agree with me, but neither does his wife agree with him. Larry's pointed that out, that it's not likely he'll change. Tim makes him miss again. Beautifully slips the punch.
He's rolling with the punches. It looks like he's getting hit, but he's rolling with them pretty well.
Still ends. That to me is a definite Bradley round.
Nice counter left hook, right hand combination from Marquez. One of the highlights for him in that round. Another right hand that Bradley was sort of rolling with, but not a lot of contact.
This one getting more interesting by the round. This is round 4. Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Larry Merchant. Glad that you're going to be with us. Wow, with a punch, a little frustration by Marquez.
I'm starting to feel the same way, Colonel.
And great champions like him could do things that other guys can't. You know, if he comes back and lands some shots. But I don't think his timing is good tonight. I think his shots are too wide. Could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Arm shot. Well, if you pull it off, it'll help.
Well, you try it. You get caught, you get caught. They're going to find you. Round 4. That's why I love the referees for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, because they, and Los Angeles, but basically those are your places where you get great. But that's all in favor of Tim. He's the ring general. He's dictating that. About a minute to go in the 4th round.
Because he's doing what he's got to do to win, yet somehow it doesn't win over the public and clamored to want to see a Bradley fight when he fights like this.
Would you rather take the Klitschko's money and fame, or would you want to listen to him get into brawls and please the public?
Well, but you know, that's the issue here, because certainly Marquez is not fighting any more aggressively than he's fighting his style of fight.
Absolutely.
Counter-puncher fight. Is how gray the little beard is on Marquez.
Yes,
It's all like Vaseline, actually.
Combination of gray hair and Vaseline.
Oh, it's the Vaseline.
Mixed it up a little bit, but not much happened there in all honesty. Another nice exchange. Tim landed the left hand with the right one up behind.
He's more like a Wall Streeter.
Right.
If you give me an accountant for the government in Distrito Federal, the chair Mexico goes up. Blow to the body will not hurt him. Stiff jab to the forehead of Marquez. Another raking it. That's why they're loading up the grease. Nacho knows what he's doing over there in that corner.
And we haven't seen that flush uppercut that Marquez landed so beautifully in the 1st round. And since then, I haven't given him a round.
You know, we're all sort of warrior aficionados. You know, if I'm fighting now at this stage and it's going this way, I know that isn't what Tim wants to do, and certainly not what
Good hard
his
jab.
opponent wants to do. But these guys are fighters. I think he's going to go after him soon.
No, I think Bradley wants to win the fight.
Oh, no question, Larry.
Unlike, he has nothing, you know.
He just hit him with one. Eventually, this guy's going to wilt and he'll stop it. Because this is not the Marquez that I've seen over the years.
In a way, it's a war of nerve. Who can make the other guy?
Well, that's true. You know, that's what goes to what I was saying, Larry. You know, if I'm Tim, maybe it's just that I'm so excited about this fight to do what he's doing now, but it's tremendously successful.
Well, to me, guys with similar styles, usually faster guy, and in this case, it's Bradley, and that's been the case so far tonight.
Oh, this is his fight all the way, Mario. As long as he can introduce a fight like this is perfect for him. And don't get sucked into what I suggested. Look at this. Pop the jab, pop the jab. Other guy's slow, he's missing. This is an aged version
power too, which is so hard to count him out. We sit here on the edge of our seat as Bradley's controlling these rounds, but at any moment, as we saw Marquez's last fight, it could change.
How quickly we saw in a round near this one. Downstairs he goes. Tim throws it in. Now Marquez opens up. They trade chins. Whoa! At the end, he's taunted him. He's taunted him. He's taunted him.
End of the round, both fighters taunting each other. Marquez really committing to the taunt. I think a lot of frustration. That body shot landed, by the way, from Marquez, causing Bradley to really want to open up. And I think, gentlemen, in this next round, Marquez needs to revert to plan B.
But he's a fighter, so it could happen. And I personally would love to see it happen. Squared up a bit is Marquez, looking to throw his right hand, but it's wide as it's been all night. Tim in and out, as he did in the last round at this stage.
Good lead right hand, finally landed.
Marquez threw 5 punches, they all missed.
Colonel, but I think you're right. I think he'll have his moments, catch a punch here and there, or a land blow, I should say.
Right now.
Again, it's the opponent, and recall that I said earlier
Yeah, you're right, Larry.
that an older fighter can conceal his aging, but a younger fighter will come along who exposes it. Whether this can go on for 12 rounds is what we're here to find out.
I'm more concerned about the beating that he took in the last fight as opposed to the dramatic knockout that he landed. And I think that affected him more. Sure, it was great that he knocked him out, and his body can't take many more beatings like he took for the first few rounds of that fight. I see this guy will.
Right, and 40 years old. It'll show.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing any of that speed thus far in the fight, guys.
His mind is there, but he can't pull the trigger.
Well, when they're in their prime, they're punching as the openings develop.
And there's another big counter right hand that Bradley's had success with all night.
Gets the angle, he stops, works his way back out, pulls out at an angle, sets up in front of him now. Closing seconds of the 6th round. Marquez wants to try to catch him. He's been successful, in the last couple of seconds of the round. That ends the 6th. Against 2 legendary fighters, anything that Marquez does, he might pick up a round here and there.
Yeah, he's by all means not overwhelming him. He'll catch a shot here and there like he did with that overhand right that we just saw, and Marquez happened to catch him with a right, but neither fighter really landing.
That was one of the things we wondered about going into this fight. How would he take a punch after that?
So we'll evaluate his progress against Alvarado in a place called Denver, Colorado in the United States of America.
And that's going to be 2 men in their prime and the potential barn burner. Meanwhile, we have a bit more of a chess match here as opposed to the barn burner we were hoping to see.
Yeah, and as far as that chess match score.
Well, this is an interesting graphic we got up there for you. Knockouts after round 6. Marquez, 18. Bradley, 1. Wait a minute, that's a 19.
19, rather, and that is telling, and I think that's more to the experience of Marquez, of course.
It's the conditioning, and he's going to test Tim. He's frustrated right now. He wants Tim to mix it up and brawl with him.
He's starting to move forward, find someplace comfortable, a little closer.
Tim is beautiful, though. In and out, in and out. Wow, with that shot, he took the shot. Look at the job he does defensively.
Yeah, he's underrated as defensively. You're right about that. He made Pacquiao miss a lot.
That was the punch heard around the world when it landed on Manny Pacquiao's jaw, the one that just missed. That straight, big right hand.
Windmilling. But you know something, Larry? I don't know how much is left on his punches. See, he's missing. You had the best line. What was the fighter that said, your mind's there, your brain tells you, and you see it a second later? Something of that nature?
Somebody named Robinson.
Yes, Sugar Ray Robinson.
And could there be something except for the fact that after such a high and such dramatic fashion with that knockout, post-Pacquiao?
Well, you can say for both of them, but I think your point is a point. But we know how hard he trains and how professional.
A 40-year-old body that has been 60 wars.
That's a lot.
He didn't want to go to China to fight Pacquiao.
And maybe not open up that story anymore.
All right, here we go, round 8. That's Juan Manuel Marquez stopping up, as I've said a couple of times in Las Vegas, to pick up a paycheck and where he'll go into the Hall of Fame 5 years after he quits fighting.
Good right hand, a quick little right hand by Bradley.
And he's been pot shotting like this most of the evening. And if you don't believe me, ask Michael Moore about an old pro.
George Foreman and
Michael Moore winning every round.
And what George did was trap him. So now you have to start thinking in terms of, is Marquez capable of setting a trap and changing the course of the fight?
You know, with George it's different because George throws clubbing punches. At a heavyweight his size, the last thing to go is the punch. And George, with one punch, could stop anybody.
And he has to create the opportunity, and Bradley's not giving him the opportunity to create it.
Well, we don't see some consistent pattern. He's changed up. Admitted Marquez that he saw a tell from Pacquiao that unleashed that big punch.
This is a tough puzzle to figure out.
Tim went right back, stepped outside, regrouped, because there's a frustration for Marquez here now. It's great, and he doesn't look great.
And you know, I was mentioning earlier, it was hard for me to define him. Is he a boxer? Is he a brawler? But what he is sort of...
Marquez looks a little bit frustrated, like he's not able to land the shots. He's thinking them out and almost like he's getting frustrated in there a little bit.
You're right, Christina. He's very frustrated. Therefore, he's going after him. Tim decided that he would brawl for a couple of seconds. It's okay. Marquez maybe had a better round, but not enough. That's a Bradley round 2.
We're getting to the point where Marquez is going to need a knockout.
Watch Marquez. He has some success.
Nice straight right hand. Another look. Nice straight right hand. Marquez has had his moments, but they're few and far between.
My scoring is almost always in line with Robert Hoyle's. Round 9, Thomas and Mack. Juan Manuel Marquez, future Hall of Famer. Tim Bradley, the book hasn't been finished yet, but he's undefeated at 30-0. And he's got this guy figured out tonight.
It's a nice left hook by Marquez.
He's not counterpunching, Larry, because he's lost every round. His corner knows it. He's got to go on the assault. He has to deviate, and whether he can catch Tim or not, I don't know. But that's what the last 4 rounds are all about.
Well, he needs to step out of his comfort zone and be the aggressor and let his hands go if he has any intention of wanting to be victorious at this point, in my opinion.
Well, he's trying to, I think, Mario. Jab, hook. Actually, his punches look as crisp now as at any time in the fight. I see him with a little more hand speed. Maybe it's an adrenaline flow. I don't know what it is. 3 or 4 rounds ago.
Well, he's not feeling them out. He now knows that he has to make these things count. He has to make everything count.
By the way, we just passed, since we're in Las Vegas, the over and under on the betting line, which was 9.5. And don't question it is. But this is a different Marquez than, as Larry said, doing all that feeling out earlier and strictly counterpunching. Great thing that Tim's doing is not getting sucked into the wall. All he has to do is box.
Barely missing with that uppercut.
He's thrown some hellacious punches, and he missed them, or Tim rolls with him. So he hasn't hurt Tim at all. Neither fighter down, neither fighter shaken. Nobody bloody. Marquez. Tim hasn't been touched virtually. Marquez being aggressive here in the 9th round.
A nice uppercut. There it is again, and a nice hook by Marquez. This is definitely his best round of the fight.
He wins
and a
this
nice
round.
right hand.
He hurt him. He hurt Tim. His legs are a little loose in the knees. Tim is in such great shape.
He's got to fight, gentlemen.
Late.
Here's a nice exchange by Marquez. Nice stiff left jab. End of the round with a body shot. The uppercut and the hook were working for
That's what it's all about as we go to 10.
All right, these championship rounds.
Nothing landed up thrown yet by Marquez.
Chance of Mexico from the crowd. They saw some life in Marquez in this last round.
He's got to drop him, or he's got to hurt him, or he can't win this fight. Brain cells are clicking right on the money.
Marquez's left eye is sort of a little semi-closed.
There's the brawl, you want. Here he comes. He nails him. Marquez, I thought he was off balance and maybe would go down, but it was more a balance situation. Nice recovery by Marquez, but he got nailed.
Marquez is a little surprised.
Marquez has definitely landed some maybe more shots. Don't know that for a fact because he didn't go down.
Marquez stalking, trying to still counterpunch.
Tim bending way over, so he really can't do anything but hit his back at the top of his head if you want to break your hand.
And I'm surprised Marquez hasn't adjusted a little bit and gone for the uppercut.
You can see the skills, you can see the courage, but I don't see the electricity.
Well, I agree, but I think he's been busy enough to still maybe escape with this round.
I wouldn't fight with you, Mario, over this one. Caught Bradley bending over with the right uppercut that time. And based on that, I'm giving Marquez this round.
Slip, of course.
That's a slip because if there was a punch and the hands were down, that's a knockdown. I've got a 98-92 going to the real championship rounds now as you look at this replay.
Both fighters landing big left hooks.
This is round 11. It's championship time. Pull this out against the reigning champ, Tim Bradley.
Now, these have been very close rounds, and we discussed that the judges may have been seeing it.
Because I have it 98-92 doesn't mean the judges don't have it even the other way. Remember, our scoring is unofficial. We're just trying to give you an indication of what we think the judges might be doing.
Christina just showed me some scores from Press Row.
Kevin Iole from Yahoo.
Yeah, from Yahoo, and Dan Raphael from ESPN Sports have it 96-94 Bradley.
I respect their view.
I do too. I absolutely do. The best journalists in the world. I sit down with Dan Raphael before every fight, and Kevin Iole and I sit in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame together, so I respect them a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if it were even or the other way. And I'm not backing up on it. But again, 2 rounds ago, he left his fight plan and made a big adjustment.
He hasn't, but Bradley has slowed down, and he has stuck to his game plan, but hasn't been as active.
But for Tim, it's been a fast-paced situation, moving in and out, making sure he's not caught. Where the other guys had to try and cut him off all the time, try and catch up with him, and counter him early.
He actually looks a little winded. The mouth is a little open and on his bicycle all night, but a young Marquez would make this really interesting right now, but does he have enough in the tank to maybe close it out strong these next couple rounds?
Obviously, they believe, as does Dan Raphael and Kevin Iole, that their man is ahead. We'll find out. As there's one thing for sure, Marquez won that round. So he's won 3 in a row.
All right, this is it, the 12th round.
This is what we came for.
I have Marquez needing a knockout or at least a knockdown to end with a draw.
I got a 107, 102. He'd have to knock him out of my score sheet or knock him down a couple of times. Tim is too smart for that this time around, I think. But it's WBO Welterweight Championship of the World on the line for one great champion in history, Juan Manuel.
I'm thinking of 2 younger fighters in which that was De La Hoya and Trinidad.
Yes.
Me, that it was the greatest mistake of his life, his title, rather than to win it in these last rounds.
Getting hooked again. Marquez on the assault, trying to catch him halfway through the last round.
Tim needs to put his hands up.
Bradley is giving this round away.
recently. Let's hope this isn't the case tonight.
And it's a mistake if he wants to win the fans' approval, which he so desperately seeks, or that he says.
He feels he did that against Providnikov, and he just wants to win this one. He hasn't shown any excessive testosterone tonight.
Yeah, he's stuck to the game plan very well.
Unfortunately.
Don't let him take it away from you in case the judges have it a whole lot closer than we do. If Marquez is winning this round, Marquez doesn't have the same power in this round that Providnikov had. I guarantee you that, folks.
No, that's for a fact. And Providnikov was letting his hands go, and he was a busy fighter, and he was overwhelming Bradley. That hasn't been the case tonight.
See, Mario, he's got all the right intention, but he's still missing. See that?
Yeah, he hasn't landed one of those big.
He's had his moments, and I still think he's done enough to win this round.
All right, here they go. They blast him, and he almost dropped him. How about that? Don't put your hands down. He almost dropped him.
Will that punch win him the round?
I give it to him.
And the fight.
I still give Marquez that round,
punch.
Larry.
It was the only hard-telling punch in an entire fight. Do you give him the round?
He was more
Did he hurt
aggressive.
him, or was he a little off balance?
Oh, no, he hurt him.
was hurt. He was
Definitely.
hurt.
Well, we're going
And
to see the replay.
here's the exchange here.
You'll see.
You want me to go up?
Oh, he hurt him.
Marty?
He almost dropped him.
Marty?
Wow. Almost dropped him. How those 40-year-old legs held up is beyond me. That's a credit to a great, great former champion.
Glenn Feldman scores the contest 115 to 113. He scores it for Marquez. Robert Hoyle scores it 115-113, and he has it for Bradley. Patricia Morse Jarman scores the contest 116 to 112 to the winner by split decision. And still WBO welterweight champion of the world from Palm Springs, California, USA, Timothy Desert.
This man retains the title, and our judging gave the fans the indication of exactly the way the judges had it.
Exactly. You're exactly right.